Hi, South Coast Christian life groups, leaders, and hosts. Welcome to week 1 or week 2 of your life group. We hope that you had an amazing week, and hopefully you were able to join us this past weekend for the start of our new series, All Day, Every Day. So I really quickly want to run through some of the format of how our groups might work this year. This video that you're watching right now is just simply a resource to help kind of walk us through a conversation to help cultivate growth and dialogue within our groups. Feel free to stop and pause this video at any time to have a discussion or to use as much or as little of this resource as you would see fit for your group. So as we get started, I'll just lay down a few simple ground rules that we like for our South Coast Christian life groups. Let's try and have open, honest, and positive discussions while being careful to not insult others or maybe throw people under the bus, as we like to say. We want to create a healthy environment where you can grow and have an honest, safe conversation. The second kind of ground rule that we have with our life groups is that what's said in a group, we ask that it stays in a group. Unless there's something very dangerous or extremely personal that you would feel like you needed some additional support on, please take those things to one of the pastors or to your life group leader separately. So let's jump in. If you were around this weekend, Pastor Tom started a brand new series called All Day, Every Day. All Day, Every Day is in reference to finding a rhythm in our faith. And this whole series is going to be going through the book of James. Now, James is the half-brother of Jesus, and he wrote this book is really to kind of get in your face a little bit and explain some of the practical ways that faith can impact our lives. He starts off very strongly by saying in James chapter 1, verse 1 through 4, "Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow, for when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing." So let's start the open discussion on this. And before we jump into that, check out this quick video from Pastor Tom's message this past Sunday.
When was the last time that you stepped into trouble or difficulties and you thought, oh, joy? What an opportunity. We normally don't do that. When we have a difficulty or we have a trouble or all of a sudden sickness comes about it, we don't look at it as a joyous occasion. Yet James says, consider all troubles and difficulties as an opportunity, and you need to see it as joy. Huh? How does that happen? I have to tell you, this is not a quality for me. I shouldn't say it's not a quality. It's not a quality that I easily do. I have a tendency to be a thinker where all of a sudden I see a problem, I see a difficulty, I look at it, and I see all the potential wrong of it. I'm a critical thinker by nature. So I see something, oh, that's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if there's any other critical thinkers. It's not necessarily negative. It's just that that's the way God built me. I have a tendency to think that way. Okay, it doesn't mean that I don't see an opportunity. When I see a problem, I say, okay, we can fix it this way. But I don't always look at it as an opportunity for joy. James says, guess what? We can look at it in a joyful way. Why joy? I want you to catch this thought. Because troubles give our lives an opportunity to shine. Things that come easy seldom come with a lot of joy. They may come with momentary happiness, but not necessarily with joy. Joy comes from knowing that God has helped you persevere through a situation and conquered a situation that was difficult in your life. Jesus says in Matthew chapter 5, verse 10, he says, "Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." What Jesus is saying, you know what? If you're persecuted on my behalf, guess what? Consider yourself blessed, because I know I'm going to bring you through those circumstances, through those difficulties, through those troubles, and my glory will shine through you.
So Pastor Tom explains that it's even difficult for a pastor to consider it pure joy when a trial or a hardship comes your way. So what does that mean for us in our lives? So let's take a minute, let that sink in, and let's have a quick discussion. So here are a couple of questions that you might want to work through or discuss as a group. What are your initial tendencies when it comes to trials and hardships? Do you feel sorry for yourself? Do you get angry? Is your first response to have a negative or a bad attitude? Share openly with the group how that attitude might negatively affect your relationships and those around you. Go ahead and pause it right here. Hopefully you had some great dialogue and discussion based on those questions. So my second question here is, oftentimes we'll hear that real growth and real life change come through difficulties and hardships in our life. I heard John Maxwell say several weeks ago at a conference that he'll ask as many people as he can, tell me about a time in your life that you had experienced growth. And 100% of the time, it starts out with them saying, I was going through a difficult time in my life. I don't think a lot of people wake up every day in their perfect life or when things are going really great and say, you know what, how could things be better? So take the next few minutes and go ahead and open up and share as a group some experiences in your life that you went through a difficulty or a hardship and how you grew through that, and specifically, how did you grow in your relationship with God? Go ahead and pause it right here. Welcome back. So now I want you to take another look at a clip from Pastor Tom this weekend. This clip is all about perspective and how when we shift our perspective, we may find more opportunities to grow when things are difficult.
Today I want to encourage us to start looking at our troubles through a different lens. Don't view them from a negative perspective. Let's view them as a positive opportunity, an opportunity for spiritual growth. What would happen if we changed our perspective? What would happen if we changed? It's kind of like my glasses. If I take my glasses off, I can still see you guys great, but I can't see my notes. So I got to put my glasses back on so I can see those notes. And it gives me a different perspective. There's times in our life I think that we have our human perspective on, and we see troubles and difficulties and struggles, and that's all we see. What happens if we took our glasses off and we put God's glasses on? The mind of Christ, I like that, the mind of Christ. And then all of a sudden, instead of seeing troubles, I'm seeing opportunities. You know what? God could use me in here, and I can make a difference because the talents that God gave me. I could change, I can bring glory into the situation. We can start changing I heard a saying the other day, which I thought was really good. It's hard to be a positive person with a negative mind.
So hopefully you saw from that video, there was a great quote in there where Pastor Tom talks about how it's almost impossible to be a positive person with a negative attitude. Our attitudes tend to affect so much in our lives. So as a group, let's discuss this. What are some areas in your life that you feel you've struggled with negativity? And when that negativity creeps in, how has that affected your family relationships or work relationships or any type of relationship that you've had in your life? Go ahead and pause it right there. So now let's discuss as a group the importance of spiritual endurance. My question for you to discuss as a group is, why is it important for us to have endurance in our Christian faith? Go ahead and pause it right here. The last section for group tonight will be taking a look at one final clip from Pastor Tom's message this past weekend as it relates to asking God when we do encounter difficulties and trials. Pastor Tom explains that in the book of James, it tells us that when we have trials or hardships and we don't know what to do, we should ask God for perseverance and for courage and for wisdom. Check out this clip.
Let's continue reading verses 5 through 8 of James chapter 1. It says these words: If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given to him. But let him ask in faith, with no doubting. For the one who doubts is like the wave of the sea that is driven and tossed by the wind. For that person must not suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. He is a double-minded man, unstable in all of his ways. Another way that I want to share with you today about how we can find stability in our lives is to pray and believe. Pray and believe. James clearly tells us that if we need help, we are to ask.
Hopefully your group tonight challenged you a little bit and encouraged you, but more than anything, I just hope that you had a great time of fellowship, fun, and community. And that's what we're looking for out of our groups at South Coast Christian. So before we sign off here, I'll just remind you that we have services at 9 o'clock and 10:30 a.m. on Sundays here at the church, available via live stream and also in person. And also, make sure you follow us on social media at South Coast Christian so that you can stay in touch with us throughout the week. And for all other information and resources, check out southcoastchristian.com. From our staff to our group leaders, we're praying for you. We love you. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.